things that I'm going to show you as far as setup wise are things that need to be practiced, right? You can't just say, all right, I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back and down, and then I'm going to add 50 pounds to my bench, okay? These things are going to have to be worked on every time that you're performing the movement, right? I tell Josh and all my guys, right? Every set from the bar to your top set should be done with the same technique. Obviously to the best of your ability, but you shouldn't just try to, try hard when there's 315 on the bar, right? So your setup should look exactly the same whether or not it's the bar or whether it's 405. Because you're practicing those good habits every set that you're taking. And the more practice you get, the more it becomes second nature, right? So I'm sure some of you guys, when it comes time to hang clean, right, it's easy because you've been doing it for so long. And it just comes natural and you just hang clean, right? That same thought process and that same train of thought needs to happen on all of your exercises, right? But especially a movement as technical as the bench is, it makes it even more important to practice those little things from your first set to your last. Make sense? Okay, so my setup is I set up my upper body first. So I'll pull my shoulder blades together and down. I'll set my feet. I'll get the bar, take the bar out, and wrap. Oh, there goes my hand. All right, so that's my setup. Right, your setup may be completely different after we work on it a little bit, but there's certain things that I've done, that I do, that you should take and put into your own bench training. So the first thing was setting up my upper body. Right, you always want to set your upper body up first because that's what's actually contacting the bench. Right. So if you look, Josh, right. So Josh is going to show you his setup. Okay, it was two completely different setups, right? But there was a couple things that, whether or not Josh's back was flat, my back was arched, Josh's feet were flat, mine were tucked, right? There was certain things that were the same between the both of us, right? So the first thing was setting up the upper body, right? Upper body needs to be set up. You need to pull your shoulder blades back and down before you even touch the bar. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this, right? You can kind of like wedge yourself in, right? I know some people do it like that. There's some people who will slide themselves under the bar like this, and their shoulder blades are back and down. However you feel comfortable is what's going to work for you, okay? But the main thing that you need to do and the main thing that you need to feel is that. Right? So, and you can think about it in your head. Back, down, right? I've taken all of that distance off of my bench stroke. Right? That's the most important thing. We want to minimize the range of motion. By minimizing the range of motion, we should be able to add weight onto our bench. Okay? So first thing is going to be that back and down thing. Second thing is setting up our feet, right? Our lower body, right? Just because you hear the word bench doesn't mean that it's just an upper body movement. Just like your squat is a full body movement and your deadlift is a full body movement, your bench is a full body movement. So if you're benching correctly, by the time you're done, your legs and back should be sore. It shouldn't just be a chest dominant movement, right? Your whole body should be working properly. Okay? So after we set up our upper body, it's time to set up our lower body. Now, there's a couple different things that you can do. Right? Once that upper body is set, the shoulder blades are pulled back, there's two different types or ways that you can bench. You can bench with your back flat on the bench, or you can bench with an arch. Okay? If you were to look from the side, you can if you want. There's space in between the bench and my lower back. Right? That's called an arch. right? The reason why people arch is to, again, decrease that range of motion. The higher your back is, the higher your chest is going to be, so the less distance the bar has to travel. Okay? It's all about minimizing the range of motion.
I'm sorry, does that put any kind of a strain on the back? Because you're kind of putting it all up on
so,
you know?
The internet will say that if you're arching your back, you're going to hurt your back and all these bad things are going to happen. If it's done properly, no. The other thing you have to think of is you're not in that position for 10 minutes at a time. You're not in that position for 5 minutes at a time. You're in that position for your set and then your set only. Okay? So I'm not telling you that every time you lay on a bench to arch your back, but I'm telling you when it's time to train your bench press, if that's what feels comfortable for you, then it is okay to arch your back if done properly. Okay? So a proper arch, the only 2 points of contact on the bench should be your upper back, so your traps, your rear delts, your lats, and your butt. Okay? So you almost think you're making like a U or an upside down. Like it should almost look like that. Okay? By doing that, obviously, like we said, we're decreasing the range of motion. Okay? But we're also creating a base. So yes, it may be uncomfortable at first to be in this position, but again, weightlifting in general isn't typically a comfortable thing. So just like the bottom of a squat isn't the most comfortable thing, or the bottom of a deadlift isn't the most comfortable position, your setup on your bench isn't going to be somewhere that you want to spend, a Saturday afternoon. But if your goal is to enter a competition and lift the most amount of weight possible, there are certain things that you need to do to get out of your comfort zone. Right? Does that answer your question a little bit? Okay. So your setup, your lower body now, we're gonna add your lower body in. So like we said, feet flat, feet tucked, feet out in front, feet wide, feet tucked wide, feet tucked close. Those are all gonna be based upon your level of flexibility. Right? The more flexible your hips and hip flexors are, the more you should be able to tuck and get your feet underneath you. Okay? If you're someone who's very stiff, then I would suggest stretching a little bit more in the morning, stretch out your hip flexors a little bit, and that'll loosen up those hip flexors, which should allow you to arch a little bit better. Just be in a more comfortable position, right? It may not be the most comfortable, but if you're a little bit more flexible, it should allow you to not get off the bench and be like, oh wow, that really sucked, kind of thing.